All right, so wanted to take a moment to really just elaborate on the electrolytes, right? And so one of the things that when people are starting this diet, the biggest mistake that they make is that deficiency in electrolytes, right? They think that they're supposed to go through something called the keto flu. They think they're supposed to feel like crap at first. And it's like, oh, it's part of the sugar detox. And that's not the case at all, right? The reason people go through those feelings is because they don't replenish their electrolytes. So as I talked about in that shorter video, one of the things to remember is that when you are eating high sugar, when you are eating a high carbohydrate diet, one of the things that you have is a lot of water retention. Well, with that water retention, you also have a lot of electrolytes floating around. Well, as you start to lose that as you start to lose that water retention, what goes with that, unfortunately, is our electrolytes. And so if we're not replenishing them, well, we're gonna not feel so good, right? But here's the problem with that, is this is where you get preyed on, right? This is where people jump in and they try to say, oh, well, you should be drinking ketones and that's gonna help you. And that's just not the case at all, right? The only reason you might feel better drinking ketones is because of the BHB salts in there, right? You're getting some sodium with those ketones. However, you don't have to spend $2 billion for some ketones when you could do this supernaturally, right? So I wanted to give you a couple of my favorite supplements, but also tell you how you can do it from your food. Okay, so favorite supplement number one in terms of sodium, right? So if you remember that breakdown, the amounts that you need is research has shown 4,000 to 6,000 milligrams a day, but the people that I work with, they're typically not very active. They typically don't work out a lot. And they work desk jobs, right? So the ranges that I have them in is between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams minimum. Now we do have some people who work for like Amazon or, have more active jobs. And so they're going to need a little bit more. Maybe they work out, so they need a little bit more. It really ranges. But the way that where we start people is between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams of sodium per day. Now, before you're like, oh my gosh, I heard sodium is bad for me. Yeah, if you have a ton of water retention as it is, if you are eating a high sugar diet, you already have a ton of sodium basically flowing through you. Now, again, when you don't have that, you need to replenish it. And that, by the way, that goes for any whole foods diet. That doesn't just go for keto. It doesn't just go for low carb. If you are consuming a whole foods diet, real food diet, you need to replenish your sodium, okay? Because you're not eating those processed foods that have a ton of sodium in them already. So that's thing number one. So 2,000, 3,000 milligrams, a way to do that is, number one, you could go a little hardcore and you can take some, Celtic salt, or you could take some pink Himalayan salt, put that in your water. I also encourage people to mix it with something called HydroCharge. It's just a water enhancer, tons of antioxidants. That's one of the ones that we recommend, super affordable, but you can put salt in there and it makes it taste a little less salty. But the second one that I love is Element. Now, I don't use Element every single day. I only use it when I'm on the go, or when I have, I don't have time to really make my water or do anything like that. I can just take those little packets with me, pour it in, and I'm good to go. The Element has 1,000 milligrams of sodium in there already. So that makes it super, super simple. And then the last one that you can do, shameless plug here, I guess, is the KLD supplement. Now, I usually just do that for our members. And so if you're a member watching this, you already know what it's about. So I won't really promote that here that much. However, I will say that supplement that I've created has 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it as well, but it also has 1,500 milligrams of potassium, which is by far the hardest to get when you are consuming a ketogenic or low carb diet and you're trying to lose weight, okay? But I'll get to that here in a second. So just to kind of recap that, you need about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium minimum. The research is showing that you need 4,000 to 6,000 milligrams. And no, it does not cause hypertension. No, it does not cause high blood pressure. In fact, if you do some real research that's not funded by these fake organizations, you will find that the deficiency in sodium is what causes hypertension and what causes high blood pressure, okay? Which I know are the same things, but you get what I'm saying. Second thing is potassium, okay? You need anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams of potassium. Now, here's the thing, is you don't want to have an imbalance of these. And sodium is the one that leaves the body the easiest, okay? So you want to have at least a 1-to-1 ratio, meaning if you take 2,000 milligrams of sodium, you want to get 2,000 milligrams of potassium, okay? Or you can have your sodium be higher than your potassium, which is what I highly recommend, because potassium doesn't leave the body as easily as sodium does, okay? So you need those between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams a day. Again, make sure they're not imbalanced. Make sure it's a 1-to-1 or sodium's higher. And some ways to do that is you can eat avocados, you can eat steak, which is good in potassium, you can eat bacon, which is good in potassium. Green leafy vegetables are pretty good in potassium. And I'm sure there's a couple other ones that I'm missing. I can't list them all off the top of my head. But some supplements to go along with that. One of the things that I recommend is Zip Fizz. Now, the reason I recommend Zip Fizz is because it has 900 milligrams of potassium per serving. But here's the caveat, is it does have caffeine in it as well. So with that said, with it having caffeine, if you are caffeine sensitive or consume 2 a day, has 90 milligrams of caffeine in it. So if you're having to do 2 of those a day, that's 180 milligrams of caffeine, which is quite a bit, right? So that's the caveat to it. However, it does help you get your potassium. It obviously does help with energy. There's some B vitamins in there, all that fun stuff as well. But here's where people go wrong, is they think that, oh, I'll just take a potassium supplement, right? I'll just do the pills. Well, think about how many milligrams you need. Most potassium supplements, like the pills, they're 99 milligrams at most is what I've seen. So you would have to take 20 to 30 potassium pills, but to even get close to your recommended amount. Now, obviously, eating the right foods will help with that as well, but you're going to have to be pushing a lot of pills. And not only that, you're going to think, oh, I'm saving money, but you're having to consume half the bottle in like 7 days versus the other ones that I recommended. So that's for the supplementation side. And again, if you want to, the KLD supplement has 1,500 milligrams of potassium in it, which the reason I created it that way is because it's the hardest one to get. Whereas the sodium, you can always add things a lot easier versus adding potassium, especially when you're trying to lose weight, because oftentimes the potassium rich foods that you can have, if you're in a weight loss phase, makes it really, really hard to get the amount of potassium that you need. So that's why I structured it the way that I did. And then the last one is magnesium. Now, magnesium has been like this hot topic on social media, primarily because of our food being depleted of magnesium, right? The soil isn't as good as it used to be. And so it's created this hot topic of magnesium. Now, the reason we use it, there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of benefits of it. So I would highly recommend doing your own research on that. But the reason we use it is because it helps with going to the bathroom and it also helps with sleep, okay? So if you are not sleeping well, if you are not going to the bathroom and you're following a ketogenic or a low carb diet, you want to look at your magnesium as one of the culprits, right? A lot of times people get constipated because magnesium does help with the muscle contraction, so to speak. It also helps with the flow. So you want to make sure that you're getting the magnesium that you need. And then sleeplessness, right? If you're unable to sleep, a lot of times people have so much energy once they start to feel better, they have trouble going to sleep. Well, a lot of that is, yes, the energy, but number two, it's because they're deficient in magnesium. They don't just have it circulating around anymore. So one of the things that you could do to get magnesium, again, it's really, really hard to get it from your green leafy vegetables these days because it's so depleted, right? Now, you can do that. I encourage you to do that. But I would also, to be on the safe side, is I would recommend a high quality magnesium supplement. I'm very wary of like the Nature Valley ones from Walmart or anything like that. I would spend a little extra money because this is your body that we're talking about here. So I would definitely make sure that you are not trying to get the cheapest thing, because I don't think you're the cheapest thing, right? And so you could just get a magnesium supplement from the store, get a super high quality one. You want to get one that's between 400 and 600 milligrams a day. Now, here's the thing, is research is showing that we need about 500 to 700 milligrams a day. Some people even need more, which is insane. But, you know, that's kind of what the research is showing, especially when you're on a real food, low carb, ketogenic diet. And so you could do that. You can eat your green leafy vegetables. Again, the KLD supplement does have 500 milligrams of magnesium in it. But those are just some options that you have. Okay, so all this to say, one of the biggest reasons for diet failure on the ketogenic diet or a low carb diet or a real food diet is because of the lack of electrolytes. People think that they're supposed to feel like crap, and you're not. Electrolytes are not recommended. They are mandatory. You need them. Without them, you go bye-bye, okay? Or you end up in the hospital with an IV in your arm, and guess what they're pumping you full of? You guessed it, electrolytes. So make sure that when you are transitioning into eating real food, that you are consuming the proper amount of electrolytes. So I hope that was helpful for you. I know that this, you know, if you like this longer format, obviously let me know, but we'll see what the feedback is like. And I wish you the best in your journey, and I believe in you, and I'll talk to you next time.